their card had to wipe a couple of clips. But yeah. I think I know where this, so we can actually see where the other site is. Yeah. Yeah, I think I know where I am. You probably would have seen this on another video where I parked the old car, which is, yeah, gone now. So oh, the other thing is it's Bastille Day today, but we've had the death of Trump's, is it his first wife? I can't remember now. So many wives or something. Definitely said that he was her second husband, and she used to be an athlete. So, you know, be interesting. So, is it the fact that she's been double jabbed and boosted, or because he said they started having heart problems and then died? So, oh well, might be able to go down there. Yeah, just for a bit of interest, eh? Better go down here so we, the safety bit, but still got Christmas lights up. Pretty good, eh? Yeah, so as I said, I think it was it the Captain Cook's second trip or something? They were like 50 miles offshore or something, and they could smell the eucalyptus because they'd been there before. They knew what they smelled like, I think. Or was it the first one? And was it Joseph Banks or something? You know, because he, I don't know. Can't remember now. I think it was the second trip, wasn't it? Or like 50 miles offshore, and they could smell the eucalypts that far out to sea, basically. And I was just thinking, is that what it's going to be like in Germany as they get closer to Christmas? You'll be able to smell all the stanky fannies as you're flying in. You know, you get into the airport and there's this sort of noticeable odour of stanky fannies, you know, coming in, wafting in, because the whole of the country's down to 1 minute showers, or they're only showering in cold water or something stupid like this. Yeah, solar panels. So yeah. The stanky fan, he's too easy. But yeah, I'm just waiting for the cognitive dissonance, you know, as I said before, you know. I'm just going to have my coffee and tea watching on TV, cafe over tea or something, rather than, I never really like coffee or tea anyway, you know. I'm down to a glass of water every day now, but I have to thaw it out first before I can drink it. So I think, oh yeah, okay. So we're down here. We normally used to drive up there and park the car and go in looking at, just look at the sewer cap and the other side of the sewer cap. Plenty of videos up there for you, and you'll recognise all these streets and stuff and so on. And colour check on the Posca purple of that bin up there, and you know, so on and so forth. Oh, we gone to that general betrayers by accident or something. So that might have caused confusion going down that steep slope there. But oh yeah, and you go in there and go up there. We've obviously come down there, and they're all on the videos in the car and everything. So yeah, we'll enjoy those. Oh well, you got some dandelions. So if I want some seed, I know where to come now. So they'll probably be ready by next week. So check the blue. Yeah, some really nice houses in this area. You know, I can see how these could all go up in price by about $50,000, thanks to that nice little phrase I came up with when the the mayor of Onkaparinga came to my front door. And I just made it up on the spot, basically, and I'm sure she's got it on a brass plaque behind the thing. She's now the sitting member, I believe. So, yeah, she's not mayor anymore, but she's become, a parliamentarian. So, yeah. As I said, I'm one of these strange people who wants to pay more tax, as long as I have a say in where the roads and bridges go, so they don't put them over any, rare plant species and things like that. And, I don't mind paying tax if I see something happening in the neighbourhood every single day, sort of thing. That the taxes are actually doing stuff, but not on an abusive level, sort of thing, So it's always getting better, because I think that I don't like best, I like better, because better's always improving. Best implies you've got to an end point, a finality, and nature doesn't have a real end point, Things will sit quiescent until there's a need, sort of thing, Did you see that article the other day I put up, and it had it's the only member of its family, and I said, no, it's the only member of its order. Cephalotus is that far out. We sailed off without much glaciation and volcanism for a good many millennia, sort of thing. And because of that, you've got Cephalotus sitting out on its own order, if not, its own order. I don't know if it's any better than that, but there are not too many plants out there that have their own, order, sort of thing. You're almost getting into magnolia and its kin sort of territory now. Really getting really ancient in a way. So, ginkgo, that's it. What's it? Is it 2 species of ginkgo? And Cephalotus has only got the one species in its own order. Yeah. Thought I'd just catch the sunlight for you. Won't last for much longer. But, John likes all this stuff, He's probably, has his bacon and eggs in the morning with a nice big fat cup of coffee. Watches on his big, hopefully LCD screen, because if you watch it on an LCD screen, is it on sports mode or something, so I get 50 frames a second or something. So, in true to life colour, and if you watch it on an LCD screen, you will get true 1-to-1 colour, absolutely true to 1 colour, and you just will not believe it. I couldn't believe it when I was watching back those National Geographics on my computer screen. Could not fault the colour one bit. Absolutely 1-to-1 true colour. It was like turning the page of the magazine in front of me. Could not fault the colour. So obviously all that work I did has finally paid off. But now I'd love to do it all in 4K, but apparently that's not to be without going on another massive learning curve, which I haven't got the time for at my stage of life, I don't think. Really for some younger people who can help me out that way, So, it's basically for them, I think. So. Anyway, I think we're gonna make really rapid progress now, and people are going to be scratching their heads. But it has to be that way. I mean, growing CPs has been that hard for that many years. Back in the day, my day, early 70s or anything. The old timers, it was like 5 years to go from seed to a reasonable sized plant or something, The only real plant the only genus you could depend on was Sarracenia, and the only real sundew you could really depend on was Capensis, and the spats and things like that. And even Bernarda didn't grow, like it does in the wild, As I said, I went to someone's greenhouse in the early 90s, and I almost did a back take as I went through the door of the greenhouse. There was this monster of a plant, And I suddenly, instantly went back to that statement by Darwin, I've received a root, it's now growing to 80 centimetres, which seemed like, I don't know. Darwin never seems to be wrong when it comes to his measurements, So as soon as I saw that, I instantly trusted Darwin even more, said, yeah, this bloke's bloody accurate, isn't he? There he is. He was sitting on the bench and, of course, almost touching the bloody plastic of the greenhouse. Absolute monster. And all this bloke would say is very cagey. He got it from some lady in the southeast. And I think we all know who that lady is, because she used to live here and then went down there. So I think we know who it is. But it turned up in a lump of soil, he said. So there you go, there's that connection ripped out of the wild, probably. And that's probably why he was very cagey about it. Yeah. But see, that's wild. See, science should eventually get to the stage with most horticulture where you go on and beyond nature. So we should be able to take the 80 centimetres and turn it into at least 100 centimetres, a metre size. I mean, as a child, I've looked back on photographs of me standing next to my parents, the bricks of my parents' house, to realise that when the Drosophila gigantea came up to my nipple height as a 10-year-old child, how many bricks high it was. That's how high and robust they grow on deep sand. So, and apparently it's the only known tuberous rheophyte. Now, do they mean that's the only? I know it means it's the only sundew that's a tuberous rheophyte, until I discover a new one, of course. Or do they mean that most other aquatic plants grow by corms? And it's also, not only is it the only known tuberous rheophyte as in a sundew, but is it the only known tuberous rheophyte full stop, because all the other rheophytes grow as corms with a corm plate. That's the important thing about a corm. It has a corm plate. Most people forget about that. That's why it's called a corm. It has a corm plate. And a tuber is basically a shrunken down sort of stem, basically. It's sort of twisted around in a way, whereas corms have a corm plate. These are like the basics of botany that most people either forget or didn't learn properly in the first place. And it's muggins like me who either learn it for the first time at great age in the 90s or something, learning MPK in the 90s. Can you believe that? And now sort of going back thinking, is it all a LARP sort of thing? All this MPK stuff. All this burning up your soil, going down the shops to buy this and that, this pesticide, this blah blah, is all a LARP. They're doing something totally different, and they're giving you the MPK story to get you to go and do all this stuff, so that you're spending your money on them rather than spending your money on yourself and being very happy with what you grow, growing so fast, big and colourful that you can only give plants away to people because you've just got too many. They grow too well, too quickly, too big, too colourfully, and you just have to give them away. And childhood is such a pleasant sailing surprise sort of thing. It's not a disappointment because everything just bloody fucking works, as we say in Australian parts, I don't know, but I was down one of the hardware stores the other day, and I saw these new plants had come in, and I was looking at these stachyas in there, and the look on the leaves and almost the little trichomes on there that you hadn't even almost seen before. When they come out of the greenhouse, it's almost a bit like when I went down to Oliver's many years ago, and the bloke and I, we were looking at these plants, and I went back for a second one or something, and in that week my one had sort of lost its look or luster, a bit like the Sarracenians. They almost seem like fluorescent in the shops. You almost swear to yourself that the yellows are almost fluorescent, and it's almost like they lose their colour as you walk from the shop. Is it the lighting in the shops or what? You get them home and all the lovely magenta reds sort of go to a darker red, and it seems to lose its luster. They seem to lose their thriftiness, and you're thinking, yeah, what's going on, sort of thing. Are they feeding them something every day? They get, sort of like they're keeping the switch on or something by watering them with something. Just a little one drop every day or something, while stops them from growing or something, but keeps them looking absolutely fantastic. I don't know, but not all is well in the horticulture industry. I'll put it to you that way. I mean, there's going to be apparently all this organic stuff doesn't work. All this permaculture organics. Just look at India. You think they would be right into that, all permaculture organics, but, cutting down their fertiliser by 50% and only getting 15% yield, I think it is, because 85% is gone. You can't sell anything because you don't have enough to sell and not making any money. So the next year you can't afford any fertiliser. It's not like you've got a big barn of this stuff. And, yeah. And of course, I think they had a president and a prime minister, didn't they, in Sri Lanka? One of them fled the country. I thought I noticed on the video that he was taking a big suitcase with him. I did see another photograph of a suitcase packed full of money. They caught someone else with a suitcase packed full of money. They definitely weren't going to spend that on you, were they? Fleeing the country. I said, you just need to put a fatwa out on these people. Big wanted poster, wanted dead, full stop. No, alive. Everyone agrees. Everyone in Sri Lanka agrees. No, these people have done such an unconscionable. They don't deserve that. They've had their life on this planet. You can go into hiding. Can you imagine all these old people having to have facelifts at 85, Nancy Pelosi and people like that having to have facelifts? Can you imagine that? Oh, the facelift was a success, but she got an infection and died. She died of the infection or something, trying to get a facelift so no one would recognise her on the planet. Going to go down to Patagonia. What's down there? Fuck all. Enjoy the rest of your life. Apparently Patagonia is supposed to be like nowhere else on Earth, apparently. It's a bit like, Australia in a way. Sort of, but more so sort of thing. It's just weird down there, apparently. Looks like nothing else. Is like nothing else, apparently. But so hard to get to. Well, that's what we thought until all these people started flying into these tepuis, giving you the impression that it was a very expensive trip to go to these tepuis, and they're all going. I'm thinking, well, it can't be that expensive if they're all going, and or you better buy my book because you'll never be able to afford to go there. And you find out after you've bought their book that no, it's not that hard to go there these days. What with globalism in that way. That's the only good aspect of globalism, I think. Everything else is bullshit. But anyway. That's another ranty one today, I think, but I think we deserve it. Something you just know. There's something coming. There's something not quite right out there, It's like you're going to walk up to your school bully, hit them, and they're going to burst out crying, and they're not really a bully after all. They're just a big fat pussy. I think that's what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. It always comes out of left field. You don't know what it's going to be. As I said, with the Bastille, it was the, going to the church on Sunday after wanting to give them stale bread because, cakes were taxed. Stale bread's okay. That's not, but even stale cakes were taxed, probably because of the sugar, and you want to get your money back on the sugar, sort of thing. And, go into the pulpit and suddenly it's Jesus feeding them. Hang on, if Jesus can feed the 5,000, why can't we feed these people in the Bastille? Because it's Bastille Day today. That's why I'm recounting this story yet again. Why can't we? Are you telling us bullshit? And of course, the priest in the pulpit has to make the decision between, if I say yes, that's the church over and done with. We still want to keep up all our lucrative transgressions or thing. And so he had to say, yes, it's okay. You can go and feed the starving prisoners in the Bastille with stale bread. So you're not being as good as Jesus, but you're trying to get there, sort of thing. Yeah, so anyway, and of course then it was on like Donkey Kong. And of course they start going into these places and they're seeing all this opulence and everything that they probably haven't seen because they're not allowed to go there and things like that. And it's just like over in Sri Lanka, going into the presidential palace and seeing, shit, even looking at his black underpants, you know.